Hello, everyone. I'm joined by Team Falcons coach Junkbuck to talk about everything coming up in the Stockholm Major. Thank you for joining me, Junkbuck. I wanted to
Hello.
ask you first about the boot camp. Where are you and how has it been so far?
So we're in Sheffield, England right now. So it's been like a week, I think, and it's been great. The whole facility is really, really nice. We're at a facility called Endpoint, and they've been treating us really well.
And how have you found? Is this your first time in England?
It is actually for me. I think
Have
I
you
think there's like only like two people who's been to UK. I think everyone else is the first time.
have you had a chance to look around much or see the
No,
sights?
actually, we had one day where we could have went around. So, for example, Majer went to Nottingham, but me, I just stayed in my room the whole day yesterday. That was my when I have an off day, I need to chill.
Yeah. Wait, you went to Nottingham? I live in Nottingham.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know. Yeah. Did he go to
Majer should have
see?
hit you up.
Yeah, and he should have. Surprised I didn't see him walking around town.
The comment. Majer said, "My bad." Just now.
I'll catch him next time.
All right.
Have you tried? How's the food been? I feel like there's been a lot of
The
talk on Twitter
food? No,
about
I've been
English
liking the
food.
food actually. The one thing
Yeah,
that's surprising part for me was the food is actually cheap. I thought
yeah.
Europe would be so expensive, but it's not, maybe because we're in Sheffield or like a more actual local area. But yeah, there's no. It's like I would say even a lot cheaper than America.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait until we get to Sweden, then you'll see. Then you'll see
Oh shit.
expensive food prices. Yeah, then you
Okay,
will
okay. I'm
see.
not looking forward. It's getting so cold too. I think it
Yeah,
it snowed today too. I was inside, so I didn't see, but
yeah. It snowed here today as well.
yeah,
So
I hate the
Sweden will
cold,
be
so I'm not looking
Sweden
forward.
will be colder as well. So
I'm not
don't
looking
worry.
forward. Yeah.
So before we get into the meta and the finals and the major and all of this, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about stage two. Because going
Mhm.
into stage two, you signed Happy, and after you signed Happy, we saw lots of different combinations of the DPS players, and eventually we settled on Proper playing Genji and Stalker playing a lot more of a hit scan. What was the original idea behind signing Happy, and how did we sort of end up with this final duo?
So the idea being happy was as a lot of the people in the team felt like there had to be some kind of culture change, some new ideas, some new fresh idea coming into the team, as well as having that extra uh, uh, really good hit scan player could help our team too. Uh, so that's why Happy came. So we looked at hit scan and Happy happened to be free. So Happy was able to join our team. And then for in terms of like trying out different DPS for that stage, so we did try like a lot of people put a lot of different people in and out, and then ended up we ended up playing Happy a lot. So I think we found a good fit within the roster. But then what happened in the Asia playoffs? Um, we felt like there might we might in the beginning of the scrim stages, a lot of the teams felt like there it could have been two flex DPS meta actually. So Raccoon back then was like playing May Venture with Knife In, even though he ended up not playing at all. So in the beginning, it felt like we might have to make a lot of uh double flex DPS swaps. So uh, we ended up we played with Stalker and Proper in the roster a lot in the beginning, and then but then a little bit by little bit we ended up using hit scan more. But then we weren't sure how much we are gonna use the hit scan. So we're okay with just Stalker filling in the hit scan role whenever we have to swap off to hit scan. And then what ended up happening was just hit scan was the meta. Uh, but Happy was still gonna play some of the maps that didn't get chosen in the Asia playoffs. But the plan was Happy it was gonna play when those maps got chosen. But yeah,
Well, fortunately for you, it seems every DPS player you have has like a top tier hit scan in them, so it always
yeah,
seems to work out.
yeah, very flexible. So stress free about we don't have to worry too much about who's in and who's out.
And then ultimately, a very successful stage two. It felt like after sort of being on a string of not being able to beat Crazy Raccoons, you actually beat them twice, both in Korea and then in the Asia finals as well. What do you think was different about these matches compared to earlier in the year?
I think we. th- I, 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 I wouldn't know for sure about like how they prepared, but there's like a multiple elements to it. I think was that the players stepped up. They fully what was it accepted the different roles that they can take on, and our we also prepared really well. And I think Raccoon didn't prepare very well as well. So it's just like a mix of every little things, and yeah, I think that's what happened.
And I want to ask you about that final day as well, where you had to play the lower bracket. You
Yeah,
beat Zeta in a 5 map, and
yeah,
then Crazy Raccoon. You even have to come back towards the end to win that one. What
yeah.
was that day like for you as the team and the players going through all of that?
So actually, we were well. For me personally, I'm not sure if every player felt this way, but for me personally, eh, like I was mad because like the Zeta and Raccoon like they didn't scrim with us at all that whole week. So oh my god, these two are colluding to uh, destroy like drop like make us out of the whole thing. And so thankfully, so I really wanted to beat them, but so for example like on that match day we didn't even have a warm-up actually that day because we couldn't find anyone. And but Raccoon and Zeta right next to us, they were screaming against each other. so I was just really mad. But in the now thinking back, it actually worked out in favor for us because we had such a long day. So playing like extra 1 hour of Overwatch would have made us more tired. So uh, in the end, it was better that we didn't scrim and we didn't do any warm up. And when we played Zeta, we it was actually tougher than we thought. We thought we would beat them much more easier, but they were really good. They prepared really well. They were playing really good. So, uh, but thankfully the players really clutched out, played really well. So we were able to win, and against Zeta. And then when we played against um, Raccoon, I think the vibe of the team in general was like we were not as stressful, like because we're like okay, we're going to Stockholm at least. Uh, I think that we were able to play with less stress. So I think when we were playing against Zeta, it was probably more stressful because we have to win that one, and so maybe that's why we played a little bit worse against Zeta. But when we played against Raccoon, I think we were just able to play really well just without any pressure.
And then I want to ask you about the meta because obviously for all the teams, you've been scrimming all the different regions, you've got a lot of practice. But for a lot of the people at home, they've seen nothing really. Maybe a little
Yeah.
bit of collegiate action, maybe some in Aurora Cup, you know, and there's lots of teams in China playing Zarya. So what should everyone expect at home in terms of what's the meta going to be for Stockholm?
So it'll be a very interesting tournament for sure. I it'll be even in Dallas when we are preparing for the Dallas major. In the beginning, every team was playing such a different thing, and then it became much more similar towards the end. But it was still a lot of people. Some people were still playing Sigma. Some people, or Raccoon's playing ball. It's like it was so so I think this here there is a singular comp that like everybody still plays, but I think it might some teams might still try like different things. Who knows? But in the end, the die maps are still gonna be die maps. But some teams still might play that. Uh, what was that? Like that hero. Oh, so for the people who might not know, one thing I can say is a lot of the teams do play Mauga. A lot of the teams do play Mauga. That's what I can say.
I can maybe help because I've interviewed a few of the players and
Uh,
some people have already said, you know, so
oh,
it's
okay,
like
okay,
it's going to be an open secret. So
okay.
what most people are saying is
Uh,
it's Juno and Briggs still. same as before. Malga for a lot of teams, a lot of Echo, a lot of Reaper, a lot of those type of heroes.
I see.
And maybe seems to be not everyone exactly that, and DPS maybe changed for one of the others.
Variation of that.
But that seems to be like the core of what most teams play right now.
Yeah. I mean, even the tanks, I think some teams play different kinds of tanks too. So we might see some, but yeah, in the end, it's still changing. I think I still do think it might change tomorrow. Like a little bit more might change tomorrow because this was like how would say like a very shorter term in terms of the scrim time with everyone because we did scrim in 2 weeks in Asia, but it wasn't as meaningful because when everybody started screaming against each other, I think that's when like everybody got the real feel of how strong Mauga, for example, is. So I do think it might. So because it's been only a week with Mauga though, so I still do think it might get more variation of that Mauga comp or something new. Who knows? Some team who's sharing the scrim might we're not gonna drop it. Let's go something new, and then who knows if that might be good or not? Because that's how it felt like it was with Mauga too. Like everybody was playing basically Orisa the whole weekend, the whole time, 2 weeks in Asia, but it changed when we came to Europe.
And do you think in general this is a good meta for your team?
I do think so. I do think it is a good meta. I think we are still trying value testing a lot of stuff. So we don't know if the thing we're practicing is gonna be the thing we'll be playing in the match. But yeah, I do think it might become a good meta for our team. But I one thing I would think is every team will feel this way. I think every team right now feels this meta is good for them because I think everybody has like what's the word? Good word for it. Like they all team has a say and like we're good in this aspect of this meta. So.
And what do you think? Because obviously the nature, whenever it's Amalgam meta, it becomes a lot of macro heavy, lots of big ult fights, lots of important decisions in these, like what you invest, what you use, what you don't use. What do you think are the most important things for teams to get right in the meta? Like what will separate good team and bad team?
I think whoever figures out how to play this comp properly first. So I think that'll be the most important part. I think everybody is just playing it by the feels so far. So everybody's just like no real actual like talked about play. I think it'll be like just whatever people are, I would think. I'm not sure exactly how other teams are actually are, but from the feeling I get, a lot of teams just plays it like how they would play in rank and just whatever feels at that moment each decision. So I do think a lot of teams are gonna try to figure out what is the best way to play this meta. So that will be the most important part.
A lot of the time as well with these type of metas, when it's a lot, I guess, team orientated rather than the individual pop off, it feels like the sort of metas a coach can have a bigger impact if they can figure out the right theory or the right idea. Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you feel like in this type of meta, you and the rest of the coaching staff can influence the result a bit more than normal?
So that's okay. Let's see. How can I tell you without saying too much? I think we how I see it. Okay, because we're still in the not sure like what the exactly meta is or exactly how to play the compass. So we don't know. Even we don't know yet for sure. But from the things we're trying, I do think it's kind of like half and half this meta. It is half and half. Like there is an individual pop up and the macro aspect of it. So like the epitome of like a coach influence meta was like goats, right? But I wouldn't say it's at that level. I don't think it's as because goats you can have complete control, but the less control you have is more player oriented, right? So I do think there's a lot of aspects where it is it's like a widow hitting the headshot kind of. That's like the other extreme end, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no counterplay to widow headshot. It's just the player who plays a widow. The only counter is their aim.
Yeah.
so yeah.
And then I want to ask you a little bit as well, because obviously Juno Brig has now become really a staple for quite a long time now. Lots of teams have had their flex support player traditionally play the Juno, and then their main support play the Brig. You guys have done it the other way around. Obviously, maybe at the time it felt like this was partly because of some of the swaps involved, because there was maybe more Ana being played. Do you feel now this has worked out for the best, that you have Chio on the Juno and Fielder on the Brig? Or if you could go back in time, would you maybe do it differently?
So I do think we have it for our team. It's good the way it is. I do think it just varies on the team. For me, at the end of the day, how the Overwatch people like a name this player as a flex DPS, hit scan player, main support, flex support, but I mean, I'm the one who made like DPS player play tank and all the flex like last year in Violet play main support. Now I have these two flex DPS play hit scan. Like for me, as long as they're good at the game, I don't care about the role. How can I see it as like more of a tendency of a player? So I think in the end that's more important. Of course, there is like character proficiency, hero proficiency that's like impossible to overcome. So that part I still consider. So I'll probably never have like I don't know, a flex support player who never played Lucio play Lucio.
Yeah.
It's so but then because Juno was a new hero, I do think it was like an open for like anyone for the grabs, like anyone can learn it, and then everyone's starting from fresh. So as long as you're good at the game, I think it doesn't matter. And for our team, as you said, we did care about the swaps that we want to make. And at the time, how I felt about the Juno as well was Juno did have an element of like a Lucio and Brig for me. So it is like a Juno can fill in the role of a Lucio, role of a Brig. The different part is it can fill in the role of Ana as well. So that is where like the flex support, people who are good at that can like be good in that aspect. But in general, I do think the Chio playing it is still good for us, and even going back, we will probably keep it the same.
And then I wanted to ask you about the tournament itself. Your first game is against Twisted Minds.
Yeah.
I imagine you probably haven't scrimmed them because of that. How do you feel going into that first match?
We were actually supposed to scrim them on the first day, and then we were not gonna scrim them. But on the first day, it got canceled. So we actually have no idea what they do. But they played like few matches, I think, in Saudi E-League and stuff. So they were playing like a Sim Cassidy and stuff. So I mean, they were playing Mauga too. So how I would think. We're not too worried about Twisted. Yeah, we're not too worried.
So you've obviously got to play all the other teams outside of Twisted Minds probably
Yeah.
quite a lot in scrims because everyone is bootcamping here in Europe somewhere or other.
Yeah.
How do you find the power level is between the regions now, between sort of Europe and America and Korean teams?
Oh, so I think that's why I said earlier like how everybody feel like will have a say in how they're gonna do well in this meta. So I do think all the teams might like upset each other. Like all the teams might not have too much what was it, power difference, I would say. Like even EU, NA, I can see, last time in Dallas measure when we were doing the interview, I did say like Europe seemed stronger than NA back then, but this time, I think NA might be stronger than EU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then of all the teams you play, who's been the sort of the hardest opponent in the system?
So let's see. This will have to be like an assumption because we're trying out so many. I think our team is probably trying out more things than any other team. So, but based on the meta comp that you said with the, like a Juno Brig, Echo Reaper stuff, I would say, they were every team actually felt on a similar level, like not too different. So that's why I think people might upset each other. That's why the NA can be better than Europe. I think even the NAU can even upset Asia. Who knows? But not our team. But I would say everybody was at a similar level, I would say.
Compared to this time in Dallas, because obviously, if we cast our minds back to Dallas, obviously, both you and Crazy Raccoon didn't drop a map, did very well against the rest of the teams. Compared to how it felt then to how it feels now, does it feel like the West is closer to Korea?
In the current stage, but I do think when it becomes actually the what's the word, like tournament time, I think it might change again, because even in Dallas, like the first 2 weeks we're in an NA, we like lost like every scrim to Europe team, and then we lost even to like some shit NA team, I forgot who, but so because we're trying out so many different things, so it is similar case right now. Oh, so we were trying out so many different things. So, but as in back in Dallas, we didn't drop a single map, or Raccoon didn't drop a single map when it was actually the tourney time. So, we're just trying to be prepared by the time. So we just had to be good on the day. That's the deadline. We still have like time to buffer time to try out and test and stuff.
Is it Wednesday you fly out?
Yeah, yeah.
Getting close, little time.
Yeah, so it's like we're on a very, very tighter schedule than Dallas. That's for sure.
In general, it feels like your team, maybe compared to Crazy Raccoon as the opposite side, it feels like you often, at least from the outside, it feels like you come in maybe not more prepared, but it feels like Crazy Raccoon changed a lot of stuff in the moment. You know, Dallas is a good example where like suddenly they are playing Roadhog or something.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true in the sense that once you get to Stockholm and it's tournament time, you want to have like a clear idea of here's what we want to do versus each team, here's what we do each map?
For me, I am that way, but because we have like we have a group of a lot of different minds. They will fit in the other side of the adjustments and all these things. But yeah, in general, I would think every team by the time of the tourney day, they do have like a clear plan. I would think that's how most of the teams work, based on my experience and based on all the coaches I've talked with. They do the thing. They do the thing where they had a clear idea of how what they're gonna do, and then they'll have to make adjustment when it doesn't go their way. Yeah.
And then, is there a team you're particularly keen to face in this tournament, or one team you would really like to beat, maybe more than the others if you get the chance?
I don't know. Probably not. For me personally, I don't actually think about too much about like what kind of opponent I would want to face or not, whatever. Yeah,
just
I don't know.
Whoever comes in front of you.
Yeah, whoever comes will beat. But yeah, no one in particular that comes to my mind actually.
And then obviously expectations of a tournament have to be to win the tournament, right?
Yeah.
But would anything less than first place be okay, or would it be like if you still got to the final, would you be like, oh, it was still pretty good, or does it have to be first place to be happy?
I would think it will be first place to be happy for everyone on the team, even from the org side too. So I think it's first or bust.
All right. And then if I ask you who was going to win the tournament, obviously you say yourself. But if you can't say yourself, who would you say is, if you had to put money on the line, who would be the one to win?
If I have to put a money on the line, then I'll pick Raccoon probably. But yeah, I will want to. If it's not us, then I would rather have like I don't know, some crazy upset story that's fun to watch.
All right then. Thank you very much, Junkbuck. Yeah. Wish you and the team the best of luck, and I'll see you there in Stockholm.
All right. Thank you for having me.